Right here with 174-pound returning All-American Myles Amine. Myles, took fourth last year as a freshman. Can you kind of break down that freshman year? Is it what you expected going in, or did you exceed expectations?
Yeah, so I didn't really know what to expect, I guess, because I redshirted my actual freshman year. But I think I kind of went into the season not trying to have any huge expectations, more like just to go into the season and enjoy every match that I was going into and actually have fun wrestling and competing. But I really did have the expectation of going to the national tournament and winning. I think when I'm talking with my coaches or my dad or somebody that I look up to, they all kind of say, if you're going to compete in a sport this gruesome and kind of put in that many hours, and why not try to win the entire tournament, if you have the capability of doing so. So I think, yeah, the expectation was to win the tournament, but still becoming an All-American was a huge accomplishment for me. Taking fourth place, so coming back through the wrestlebacks and wrestling through the blood round and beating a kid that I had lost to earlier in the season, and then pinning Rio Buto, which was a huge accomplishment for me. But I think the expectation was to win the tournament, but I was satisfied, and I had a little bit of self-pride knowing that I could come back after losing to Valencia. I think that was the only kind of disappointing thing was getting that second chance to wrestle him after I lost him in the quarters and losing in that third place match. And I think I wrestled most of my matches pretty close during the year, and then kind of giving up a major my last match was probably the only thing that I could say that I wish I could kind of not go back, but an expectation that I would have held myself to a little bit higher standard, and wish I would have wrestled a little bit harder in that third place match.
So you wrestled all the top three finishers from last year, right? Mark Hall, Bo Jordan.
I did not wrestle Hall. I have not.
Didn't wrestle Hall?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I've never wrestled Hall. So.
Okay, so Bo Jordan was second, and Zahid Valencia third. All guys are back. You're all four back. Mm-hmm. What kind of changes have you made in the off season to kind of catch those guys and be on the top of the podium?
Yeah, so I think one of the big things that I left the season and looking at is something that I needed to improve on was kind of wrestling a little bit harder in the ties and not shooting as much from the open, because I think that was kind of where that was part of my the deadliest part of my arsenal was kind of my outside attacks and the quickness that I had to get to the legs. But I realized in those big matches, when guys try they know that that's your style and they know you're going to attack, then they find ways to slow you down or they capitalize off those attacks. And that's kind of what I thought, was the big separation between when I wrestled Jordan and when I wrestled Valencia, was both those guys kind of knew that I was going to be shooting a lot, and they found ways to slow me down, or like in the Jordan match where he was tying up and then he was getting an inside tie and attacking off of a lot of my own shots or just slowing me down, and then Valencia where he was capitalizing a front headlock. So I think that the biggest thing that I worked on in the offseason was trying to find a way for me to establish an inside tie. And so, when I get to those attacks, I'm in a lot better position and I'm not taking bad shots.
So when you look at Michigan wrestling, there's a lot of family involved. You think of the Chirellas, you think of the Rawls families. The Ameens are probably right in there as well. Your dad wrestled here, was a national runner-up. Your uncle wrestled here. You have a brother on the team, a cousin on the team. What has that kind of been like to kind of represent that family name? And you guys are wrestlers through and through. But just kind of talk about that Ameen dynasty.
Yeah, I think it is a dynasty. It's becoming that. I think we still have a little bit of road to go to where we compare ourselves to the Rawls or the Trellas. I think somebody's got to come up and win a national championship in order to be considered in that category. But I think it is a dynasty, and that's part of the funnest thing about it is when we're at family gatherings or something, we can always talk about wrestling, and we enjoy talking about wrestling, and it gets really competitive actually. We have fun with it, but at the same time it's like we're all pushing each other to become better. I know there's a lot of talk about my little cousin Cameron. He's been killing it on the high school level, and we're all really proud of him. But we're like kind of we're really excited to see where he's going to go to school. But he's just like, that's kind of an example of how that competitiveness has pushed the generations below to kind of try to exceed expectations from the past. And I think that the dynasty is really important, but I try not to focus on trying to prove something for the dynasty when I'm wrestling. I think it's more just like an individual sport, and I think having my brother and cousin on the team, both of them, they have their own goals and their own expectations. So I mean, at the same time that we're competitive, we also we want each other to do really well, but we don't compete with each other.
And you mentioned your brother Malik, 149 pounder on the team, was in and out of the lineup a little bit last year, looking most likely like he's going to be the guy at 49 this year. What's that going to be like? Having being back in the same lineup as him. You guys experienced it a couple times last year.
Yeah, it's really exciting having Malik in the lineup. And just on the team in general, he's kind of a character. He's got an explosive personality and explosive wrestling style too. He's unpredictable in a good way, and so. Yeah, I'm really excited. I think it just boosts team morale, and it boosts my own morale, knowing that you have your brother out there and you get to watch him compete, and you can compete alongside with him. And I think that's only gonna make our team better, having him in the lineup. But there's wrestle-offs coming up, so we're all you got to keep training, continue to work hard, because no spot is guaranteed.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you giving us a couple minutes here, and best of luck this season.
Yeah, thank you.